Yes! Game day, let's go. We've waited 3.5 years for this. Longer if you talk about when we awarded the World Cup, but USA kicks off the World Cup today in our home country. We pulled out the 2014 training top from the closet, putting on this tight shirt. Does it fit? Yes and no. Yes and no. We got some good, some bad. But hey, that was 12 years ago. 2018 didn't make the World Cup. 2022 bought a sweatshirt because World Cup was in the winter. So throwing it back to the 2014 fit. But today we're going to look at some things to watch for the USMNT as they play Paraguay. Basically things I'll be watching. Not anything too groundbreaking, but things that will dictate how we play, how we do against Paraguay, and kind of what that will mean going forward for the rest of our group games. So, World Cup is here, let's jump in. First game means so much for the US and for Paraguay, but 3 points, not a must. 1 point, at least a must, but I think this is a game the US should win. They'll have the upper hand, they have the better players. Can they keep Paraguay out? Can they break the Paraguayan defense? Those are the big questions, but let's see what I'll be looking for. Number one, mistakes. Where do they happen and who's there to cover? So thinking about how the US gives up goals, a lot of them tend to be mistakes. How do they give up big chances? A lot of them tend to be mistakes and then bailed out by the goalie or one of the defenders. So thinking sort of where do these mistakes happen? Freeman, even Anthony Robinson makes some mistakes. Tyler Adams might lose the ball in the midfield. When those other defenders make mistakes, is Adams there? Is Richards there to cover, to make up for it? Will Ream be in the starting lineup? We'll talk about that a bit later. But he doesn't cover like Richards, like Adams. So just kind of looking back at some of these mistakes recently. Here was a goal against Portugal. So it looks pretty normal here in the midfield. There was a couple of neat passes. This one came to McKennie, and he's got a couple options here. And what happened? He went right between them with this pass, went to Portugal, they went down, countered, and scored. So those are the things we have to avoid. Losing the ball there should not result in a goal. I couldn't get a good screenshot, but Senegal's first goal, Anthony Robinson lost it even further up the field than this. So like not quite to the opponent's third, but that's where they lost it. And then Senegal scored on a counterattack. Mane scored. Those are the things we have to avoid. If we lose the ball there, we have to have cover. Especially against Paraguay, who are going to be defensive. So if we get antsy, if we are pushing forward, Dest, Robinson, Adams, and lose the ball, that will be susceptible in the back. Here was Belgium's last goal against the US. That was in that 5-2 game. So this was just a cross almost from the byline there, almost from the end line here. And then Berhalter touched it, and it went right back to Belgium, who scored their 5th goal. A lot of these other goals weren't actually from mistakes. They were from, or I guess, marking mistakes. Same with the Germany game. Those aren't the mistakes I'm talking about, where someone beats you to a position where maybe you should have sent them outside and they came inside and scored a spectacular goal like Doku. Those aren't the mistakes I'm talking about. Mostly talking about turnovers and avoiding them and making sure you're in a position where if they happen, you're able to recover. And then, of course, this last one was the second Senegal goal. Here we've got Robinson on the pass back. It was deflected. Brady came out, missed it. Obviously, those mistakes are going to result in goals. Those are the big ones we need to avoid. If we have these mistakes in the middle, we need to cover for them. But just sort of the underlying fact here is our defense isn't strong enough to avoid mistakes and turnovers, and is susceptible on the counterattack, which makes those turnovers even worse. Center backs, who's starting? So these are some of the options we've had recently. We've had Ream, Robinson, Freeman as the 3 center backs. I'm hoping to avoid that. I'm hoping Richards is healthy. That's the underlying theme here. But another option would be just plugging Richards right in for Ream. That would be an upgrade. I'd be happy with that. Kind of what I'm hoping for is that McKenzie comes in. I think he has the strength and the speed He also does make some mistakes in possession, but I think with Richards there, he'll not be forced to be our sort of offense starter or the one who has possession and links up, so he can just, for lack of a better term, play defense. Also, I am still worried about Freeman and his mistakes. You'll see a sense of a theme here. So another option would be Richards, McKenzie, Ream. I would like that. I'd like any of these last three, actually. So don't want to see Robinson. That would mean Richards is likely injured. So that would be a big, big loss for Team USA. Who's in the net? This is actually the one that's least impactful, I think. The biggest thing here is that whoever plays, comes out, is solid in this game, gets confidence for the rest of the tournament. So I don't totally agree with Pochettino here not naming a starter. I think we want to know who it is so they can get the mindset. He's saying both of them will get the mindset, but I think it will help with confidence. If one of them knows they're the starter and then puts in a solid performance this shift. Again, for the goalkeeper, I'm just talking about no mistakes. Can they get through the game and not let in any goals that they should have saved, not make any mistakes with their feet? That's all we're looking for. Make those saves you're supposed to. Both these guys can do it, but whoever does it needs to get momentum and will have to, lead us in some games. Next, we've got Tillman and McKinney. So here, just kind of wondering how this midfield will set up. Again, here are some options. So this is what it ended up with last game against Germany. So Tillman back as more of a center midfielder, McKinney more attacking. I like McKinney attacking. I like Tillman attacking too. What we know, Adams will be like the holder, deepest. Not quite sure if they'll play one or two holders and then have someone a bit higher up. And we know Pulisic will be on the left as an attacker. So the forward will be up here. Kind of these two attacking midfielders are a bit more central with Robinson and Des bombing up the side, so they don't really need to cover that side. But with Pulisic, he can take that and have Robinson get inside, or McKinney fill that space, or Tillman fill that space. So that's a good option there with Pulisic. Other options then would be just switch them around, as I think was the first half in Germany. Tillman up higher, McKinney back. And then what I'm hoping for against Paraguay and Australia is sort of something a bit more like this. So again, Balogun up top, then we have Pulisic, Tillman, and these two can switch. And I think this makes it easier to switch if they're closer. So, but Adams deep line, only one holding midfielder. That allows McKinney space to get forward or Tillman space to get forward. And it's just a more attacking where this second center midfielder can make runs on. And that's a lot of times where the US is successful, whether it be Robinson, Des, Pulisic making that run to the outside, and then Balogun occupying the space up here with these secondary runners coming in. That's where we find space. So that's what I'm hoping for against Paraguay and Australia. I understand the need for two more holding players in games against bigger teams. And number 5, this one's kind of self-explanatory, but talking about patience and subs, especially against Paraguay. They're a good defensive team. They're not going to push. They're going to look to counter. So just being patient on the ball, not overcommitting, not, breaking out of your positions and breaking down, just keeping with the play. We have great players. We can link up. We can score in set pieces. These are all options to break down that Paraguay defense. Let Balogun do his thing, let Pulisic do his thing, and I think we'll be okay. Just, stay patient. And then second subs, this is every game, but whether it will be that we have a lead and we need to protect it, or we're tied or losing and need a goal, these subs are going to be huge. So just, again, looking back at last World Cup, the players that came in the first game, Brendan Aronson, Haji Wright, Jandre Yedlin, Kellen Acosta, Jordan Morris. So these are not superstars, but they have a big role to play. And then against England, we had Aronson, Shaq Moore, Gio Reyna, Josh Sargent. These guys came in later because that was a 0-0 game and we kind of liked what we were doing. But again, seeing all these different players. Third game, this was the clincher against Iran to go to the next round. Brendan Aronson came in at halftime because Pulisic's injury, but Acosta in the 65th minute. So that's like holding a lead for sure. Then Haji Wright, Shaq Moore, Walker Zimmerman, again holding that lead. They have a role to play. Then in the last game against Netherlands, a bit different. I think we were down 2-0 at halftime, so Reyna came in, and then Brendan Aronson, Haji Wright. Haji Wright scored a weird goal. Then Netherlands scored again, so it's 3-1, and just these late subs weren't that much. But just knowing here that we're not going to be up 3-0, I doubt it. So subs are going to matter regardless of whether we're ahead or behind. So those are my things to watch. I think we can come up with a victory, and let's put it all together. The time is now. And looking at my bets. So first day of betting, how do we do? We had Mexico, South Africa, both teams to score. No? Boom. We had South Korea to win. Boom. Long shot special. Korea, Czechia, halftime, full-time bet was draw South Korea plus 500. Guess what? That hit. We started hot, winning $15, $27, $60. Where does that put us? After one day of betting 3 $10 bets? We made $72 in one day. Record 3-0, long shot 1-0. Total profit $72, up to $100 already, starting from 30. Yeah, that's a strong start. If you look back at my qualifying videos, we started strong and then really trailed off. But man, we got a nice little lead here, a nice little chunk to play with now and stay above in the positives. And then what are we looking at for today? Canada, Bosnia, Canada win or draw. So definitely not taking a side here. Can't quite go for Canada to win. I think that's probably a pretty good bet, but Bosnia can pick the draw, I think. So going $10 on Canada to win or draw, only minus 550. Next, knocking on wood, hopefully not jinxing it here. USA, Paraguay, USA to win, plus 105. So plus odds to win at home against a team you're ranked higher than, against a team who has one of their players in Intenso injured. We should win. And then our long shot special, can we do it again? So I'm going here with Balogun, 2 shots or more, and anytime goal. So if he scores, he's going to have 2 shots or more. He's not going to just have 1 shot in goal. So 2 shots or more, anytime goal for Balogun, plus 430. Let's do it. There we go. World Cup Day 2, USA. Get those 3 points, baby. Get that victory. Enjoy. Peace.